Okay, so you know how you guys send us stuff sometimes. Well, this time you sent in something really useful. I gotta say, a PDF called Ordering Food at a Restaurant. And it's actually described as English listening practice, podcast style.
Yeah.
Now, you might think, hey, ordering food, what's the big deal,
Yeah.
right? But honestly, it's something we do all the time. And if you can really nail it, like get all the nuances down, it makes things so much easier.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, our mission with this deep dive is to kind of pull out all that key stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the phrases you really got to know and what's behind them. So, when you walk into a restaurant and it's in English, you just feel like you got this.
Right. And you're not just thinking about the food part, but also that whole interaction, like how it actually works, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. It's like there's this whole hidden language in there almost, and we're going to break it all down, show you what's really going on in those back and forth and like why we say the things we do. It's not just about reading lines from a script. It's about like real world stuff.
That's where the interesting stuff is.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to go through it all step by step, like a whole restaurant visit from walking in the door to getting the check.
Yeah.
And at each step, we'll really zero in on what you got to say and why.
Perfect. All right. So let's start at the very beginning. You walk into the restaurant. Usually there's someone there to greet you, right?
Yeah.
Our source actually gives us a little example here.
Yeah, it's cool because right away you get that first exchange. So the host might say something like, "Good evening. Welcome to the Golden Fork. How many people are in your party?"
Mm.
And then you, as the customer, would probably say something like, "Hi, we have 2 people. Do you have a table available?" And then the host will usually give you some options like, "Would you like to sit by the window or near the bar?"
Yeah.
And you could say, "A table by the window would be great, please." And then they'll probably say something like, "Right this way. Here are your menus. Your server will be with you shortly."
So right off the bat, we hear that question, how many people are in your party? It seems simple, but it's how they figure out how big your group is.
It's crucial, right? It's not just about the number of chairs. It's also about how they organize all the seating and how they make sure everyone fits comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the first thing they got to know to like kick off your whole experience.
And when you answer clearly, like, we have 2 people,
Exactly.
you give them that info right away.
You're making it easy for them. And then, of course, you want to know if they can even seat you. So you ask, "Do you have a table available?"
Mm-hmm.
It's just like straight to the point and
Mm-hmm.
polite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gets the job done. And did you notice how the host offers choices right after that?
Oh, yeah.
By the window or near the bar?
Yeah.
It's like they're giving you a little bit of say in where you sit.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's a really common way to make you feel more comfortable, like you're in control.
Yeah.
It's a little thing, but it makes a big difference for good service.
Yeah, I like that. And then when you tell them what you want clearly, like a table by the window would be great, please. It just makes everything so much smoother.
Oh, for sure. There's no guessing involved.
Yeah.
Being clear about your preference means the host can find the perfect spot for you quickly and like without any fuss.
Yeah.
And then they wrap up that first interaction with those standard lines, right?
Yeah.
Guiding you to the table, giving you the menus, and letting you know your server will be there soon. Did you notice how polite everyone is being through that whole exchange?
Yeah, it's like very formal almost.
It's that restaurant etiquette,
Mm-hmm.
It sets the tone.
Our source actually has a little practice built in here too, highlighting, do you have a table available?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you can actually say it out loud, which might seem silly, but it does help make it feel more natural, you
Yeah.
know?
It's so true. That repetition really helps. It's like building up that muscle memory. So when you're in the actual situation, the words just pop out and you feel more confident.
It's like you've said it before, even if you haven't.
Exactly.
All right, so now you're at your table, you've got the menu. What usually happens next?
Well, usually the server will come by to see if you want to order drinks right.
Right.
Let's see what our material says about that part of the conversation.
Okay.
So they usually start by introducing themselves, like, "Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'll be your server today." That personal touch is pretty common in a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably ask, "Can I start you off with something to drink?"
Makes sense. It's nice and straightforward. Can I start you off with something to drink? It's how a lot of servers will start things off at the table.
It gets things rolling.
Yeah.
And they're taking care of your needs right away.
And then a simple answer like, yes, I'd like a glass of water, please,
Yeah, correctly.
gets right to it.
Clear and direct.
And after they've sorted out your drinks, they often ask, would you like to hear our specials today?
Oh, yeah, this is key. It's your chance to find out about dishes that might not be on the regular menu.
Yep.
Maybe they have some seasonal stuff or something the chef's really excited about.
Like a chef's special or something.
Right.
And in our example, the customer is interested, so they say, yes, please.
Smart move.
It's always worth listening to the specials. You never know what you might discover.
Yeah, that's so true. And here, the waiter describes the special. They say, today's special is grilled salmon with lemon butter sauce. It comes with roasted vegetables and mashed potatoes.
Okay, that does sound good.
Great. They give you a good overview of what's included.
Yeah. And the customer's response is something I think we've all said at some point. That sounds delicious. I'll take a few more minutes to decide. I mean, it's totally fine to need a bit more time to look at the whole menu after you hear about the specials, right?
Oh, for sure. Take
Yeah.
your time. There's no rush. And notice how the server doesn't pressure them at all.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
a lot of cultures, it's just expected that you'll
Yeah.
take your time, especially with the specials.
Right.
So that phrase, I'll take a few more minutes to decide.
Yeah.
It's polite, and it lets them know you need a bit more time, but you don't want them hanging around awkwardly, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And our source highlights this phrase for practice. I'll take a few more minutes to decide. Again, it's so helpful to have this one ready to go.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It tells the server, hey, I'm still looking. I'll let you know when I'm ready. It manages expectations, which is always good.
Exactly. Okay, so menus have been perused, specials have been considered. Now it's time for the main event. Ordering the food. Let's hear how this goes down in our example.
All right, so the waiter comes back and checks in with, are you ready to order?
Mhm.
And the customer is ready, so they say, yes, I'll have the grilled salmon special, please.
Simple.
Nice and easy.
Mhm.
But then the waiter asks a question that's really important, especially for things like fish or meat. They say, great choice. How would you like your salmon cooked?
Oh, yeah. This is where knowing what you like makes a difference.
So important. The customer replies, medium, please.
Mm-hmm.
That tells the chef exactly how they want it cooked. It's helpful to know those common terms,
Yeah. Yeah.
like rare, but it means very little cooking, mostly red inside.
Yeah.
Medium rare means it has a warm red center. Medium has a pink center.
Mm.
Medium, well, it's just slightly pink.
Mhm.
And well done means it's cooked all the way through with no pink.
That's super helpful to know. Thanks for breaking that down.
You got it. And then the waiter moves on to the sides. They ask, and for your side dishes, would you like rice or mashed potatoes? See, a lot of main courses come with choices like this,
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
get to pick what you want with it.
So it's not like a set thing.
Right, exactly. And the customer chooses mashed potatoes, please. Again, very direct, very easy to understand. The waiter then goes on to offer an appetizer. Perfect. And would you like any appetizers? This is super common. Servers always want to see if you want to add something extra before your main meal.
Yeah, and in this case, the customer goes for it. Yes, I'd like the garlic bread.
Classic.
Appetizers are great, especially if you're really hungry.
Oh, yeah. And finally, the waiter confirms everything. Excellent. I'll put your order in now. That means they've got all the info, and they're going to go tell the kitchen to start cooking.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we heard some really key questions and phrases there. That how would you like your dot cooked? Question is essential for any dish where how much it's cooked matters. And it's important to listen for those choices of side dishes because you get to customize your meal a bit.
Exactly. And guess what? Our source has another practice phrase right here. I'll have the grilled salmon special, please. Practicing saying your order like that clearly and confidently really helps.
Yeah, it just makes things go more smoothly for both you and the server when you're concise and polite.
And you know what's really interesting to think about here is how the server guides this whole part of the interaction. It's all very logical,
Yeah.
They check if you're ready, then they ask about how you want it cooked, then about the sides, and then if you want an appetizer. It's all very structured, and it's designed to make sure they get all the details right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a system.
Like a little system. All right, so the food has arrived. Hopefully it was amazing. Now we get to the last part. Paying for your meal. How do you let the server know you're ready for the check? Let's look at what our source says about that.
Usually the waiter will come back after you've finished eating to check on you and see how everything was. They'll probably say something like, how is everything? It's just a polite way to make sure you were happy with your food. And in our example, the customer answers positively, it was delicious, thank you.
Simple and polite acknowledging the question and saying you like the food.
Exactly. And then since they got good feedback, the waiter offers dessert. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Would you like to see the dessert menu? Another chance for them to sell you something if you're still hungry.
Yeah. But in this case, the customer is ready to wrap things up, so they say, no, thank you. I think we're ready for the check.
There is.
That's the key phrase we've been working towards.
Yeah.
It's the standard way to ask for the bill in any English-speaking restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah. We're ready for the check. It's
Okay.
clear, and everyone understands it.
Yeah.
And the waiter acknowledges the request politely with, "Of course, I'll bring it right over."
So simple. And guess what? Our source highlights this phrase for practice, too. We're ready for the check. It's a must-have for dining out.
For sure.
Yeah.
It signals that you're done and you're ready to pay. No more ambiguity.
So we've covered the whole process from start to finish, all thanks to this great material you sent in.
Yeah, and you know what's really great to remember? Just knowing these basic phrases for each part of the experience can make you feel so much more confident. It takes away that worry of what to say and what's going to happen next so you can just relax and enjoy your food and the company you're with.
Absolutely. It might seem like a simple everyday thing, but knowing the phrases and the flow of how it all works makes a huge difference, especially when you're doing it in English.
It does, and it makes you
Well,
wonder, right?
yeah.
Like, how do these really basic exchanges actually show us bigger things about
Yeah.
communication and even cultural norms around eating?
That's so true.
Think about how polite everyone is all the time, and how structured it all is, and how they present you with choices. It's fascinating.
It's really interesting. Maybe next time you're out at a restaurant, no matter what language they're speaking, pay attention to how these interactions work.
Mhm.
Notice the rhythm, the
Mhm.
little unspoken things, the way the server guides everything. It's all part of this bigger and sometimes pretty subtle dance of communication and social interaction.
It is. It's like a whole performance almost.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is cool. And
Yeah.
it's something we all do all the time, so it's worth thinking about.
Exactly.
Thanks for that. That was really interesting.
You're welcome.
And thanks to all of you for sending in this material.
Yeah, keep it coming.
We love getting your suggestions, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
See you then.
Bye.